Master your mind. The real source of power. Hey warriors, welcome back. Power doesn't start with money, fame, or status. It starts with the mind. Look around. People chase luxury cars, brands, and followers, but inside, most are weak. One insult breaks them. One failure destroys their confidence. One rejection makes them doubt their worth. They look strong, but they've built their lives on sand. Because they never learned the first rule of power: control your mind. Machiavelli said, "The one who cannot control his own mind will always be controlled by others." The real battle isn't outside, it's inside your head. Those who master their thoughts, silence their fears, and stay calm under pressure, they rule without a crown. In this video, you'll learn 10 dark lessons that make your mind unshakable. These aren't feel-good ideas. They're about control, dominance, and real strength. Because in this world, people are either predators or prey. The strong control the weak. The disciplined control the impulsive. The calm control the chaotic. But real control doesn't come from the outside. It comes from within. You can't command others if you haven't mastered yourself. You can't lead if you're still a slave to emotions. And you'll never rise above the crowd if you still think like the crowd. 1. Mental power. Over external power. The world worships money, fame, and possessions. But those things are fragile. A man can have millions, but if he loses his calm, he's powerless. Another man can own nothing, yet remain calm, strategic, and in control. That's real power. Machiavelli said fortune controls half of life, but the other half belongs to the strength of our mind. A strong mind can turn pain into progress and failure into wisdom. A weak mind collapses under the same weight. It's not about what happens. It's about how you see it. When you train your mind to stay centered, the world stops controlling you. You stop reacting and start directing. Real power begins when you no longer depend on others for validation. When you can stay calm in chaos, confident in doubt, and focused in noise, that's when you become dangerous. Remember, rule yourself first. Every empire begins within. A strong mind isn't emotionless, it's unshakable. When pain becomes fuel and fear becomes a signal, you rise above everything. You stop being ruled by comfort and start being guided by purpose. Because once your mind becomes your fortress, nothing can break you. Not failure, not rejection, not loss. Power doesn't shout, it commands silently. As Machiavelli said, he who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. So before you try to rule others, master yourself. Drop this in the comments. I control my world through my mind. 2. Emotional detachment. Emotions are powerful, but if they control you, they destroy you. The biggest weakness of most people isn't ignorance, it's emotional impulsiveness. They get angry, jealous, or afraid, and they expose themselves before they even understand the situation. Machiavelli said men are moved by love or fear. The wise use both, but are ruled by neither. Detachment isn't being cold, it's being in command. You feel deeply, but act calmly. You don't let anger decide for you, or sadness stop you. A detached mind sees clearly while others drown in emotion. When you stay calm while everyone else breaks, you take control. Machiavelli warned that showing too much emotion makes you easy to manipulate. If people know what triggers you, they'll use it against you. But if they can't read you, they fear you. Detachment gives you psychological dominance. It turns pain into wisdom, rejection into data, and betrayal into strength. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" You start asking, "What is this teaching me?" That shift is power. Because detachment doesn't make you heartless, it makes you unstoppable. It protects your inner world, your kingdom, from invasion. Remember, the mind that cannot be moved moves the world. The calm mind always wins. When the mind becomes still, the body follows, and the soul finds balance again. You begin to move like a chess master, calm, patient, and unreadable. You stop reacting, you start responding. No chaos, only calculation. Machiavelli said, "He who controls his passions controls his destiny." This kind of control doesn't make you cold, it makes you precise. When your emotions obey logic, your decisions become unbreakable. The world will always try to drag you into its noise, arguments, insults, drama, temptation. But emotional detachment keeps your focus pure. The one who feels everything but reveals nothing becomes untouchable. Like a mirror, reflecting everything, absorbing nothing. That is the essence of mental dominance. True strength is calmness under fire, silence under pressure, and composure under attack. Remember this: the calm mind always wins. Drop this in the comments. I feel everything. Reveal nothing. Breaking the chains of approval. The hunger for validation is an invisible chain that traps even powerful minds. Most people live their entire lives chasing approval, from family, friends, society, even strangers online. They measure their worth through likes, opinions, and applause. But every time you seek approval, you hand control of your emotions to others. Machiavelli said, "Those who depend on others for honor will never have true authority." Because when your self-worth depends on others' validation, you become predictable and easy to manipulate. The approval seeker bends their personality to fit expectations. The powerful one shapes expectations around their own identity. To become mentally unshakable, you must break free from the addiction of being liked. Understand this: approval is a form of control. People will praise you when you serve them, and reject you when you don't. When you no longer need their praise, you become immune to their judgment. You stop living to please and start living to command. Machiavelli believed respect is never asked for. It's earned through strength, certainty, and consistency. You don't request respect, you project it. Approval fades fast, but true power leaves a permanent mark. The weak chase acceptance. The strong create influence. When you make decisions based on principles instead of popularity, you start shaping your destiny. Every great leader was criticized before being praised. Every visionary was mocked before being respected. Every powerful mind was misunderstood before being admired. So, stop trying to be good in everyone's eyes. Focus on being effective. The world respects results, not feelings. The one who no longer craves applause becomes unstoppable. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." This doesn't mean cruelty, it means confidence and identity. Fear, in this sense, means respect built on certainty. Love fades, but respect remains. Seeking approval is the behavior of the uncertain. Confidence is the language of those who know who they are. When you stop asking permission to be great, you start embodying greatness. Silence the noise inside your mind. You don't need their validation, you need your vision. Drop this in the comments. I don't seek approval. I create respect, predator versus prey mindset. In every part of life, there are only two types of minds: the predator and the prey. The predator moves with focus and patience. The prey reacts with fear and hesitation. The difference isn't strength or intelligence, it's mindset. Machiavelli said a wise ruler must fight with both the lion's strength and the fox's cunning. The predator has both. It observes silently, studies carefully, and strikes only when victory is certain. The prey wastes energy overthinking, panicking, and hoping. Mental predators don't seek approval or react emotionally. They play the long game. They know that timing is power. A predator never shows all its strength or reveals its intentions. It acts with purpose, not desperation. To develop the predator mindset, you must kill hesitation. Doubt is the poison of the prey. The longer you wait, the weaker your confidence becomes. But don't confuse hesitation with observation. Silence can be strategic. You wait not out of fear, but because you're reading the battlefield. You move not because you're pushed, but because you've chosen the perfect moment. Machiavelli said, "Those who wait for permission will always live under those who act. The world belongs to those who claim it, not those who wish for it." The predator mindset isn't about aggression, it's about awareness. It's about seeing through lies, predicting moves, and staying emotionally invisible. The mentally strong observe people like a hunter watches the forest, quietly, constantly, and with purpose. They know who's weak, who's fake, who's useful, and who's a threat. They build their world strategically, not emotionally. The prey plays checkers, the predator plays chess. Precision and calm control. Every reaction, every silence, every smile has a purpose. Stop thinking survival means being liked. It means being aware. Machiavelli said, "The one who deceives will always find someone willing to be deceived." Don't be that person. Don't reveal your fears. Don't expose your plans. Move like water, calm, clear, and unstoppable. The calm mind hunts best because it never moves with panic. When others rush, you observe. When others react, you analyze. The predator doesn't compete. It dominates through understanding. That is mental superiority. Silent, focused, and deadly. Drop this in the comments. I move with precision. Psychological disguise. The most dangerous mind hides its truth behind a mask. Power grows in silence and mystery. The moment people can predict your thoughts, you lose control. Machiavelli said rulers should appear virtuous, but act according to necessity. In simple terms, show people what they expect while keeping your real motives hidden. This isn't deceit, it's protection. It's the art of revealing nothing while observing everything. Weak minds want to be understood. Powerful minds prefer to be unreadable. When people see your emotions, they learn how to control you. When they know your dreams, they learn how to block you. A concealed mind becomes a mystery, and mystery creates fear and fascination. That's power. Let your calm face hide your strategy. Let your words distract from your true direction. Let your silence create curiosity that works for you. Machiavelli believed that perception is stronger than truth. When you master disguise, you shape how others react without showing what you truly think. If people can't tell whether you're strong or weak, calm or angry, they hesitate. And that hesitation becomes your weapon. Never explain too much. Never react too fast. Never reveal your full plan. The unknown keeps others guessing, and guessing keeps you powerful. The best manipulators are quiet architects of confusion. They plant thoughts, guide emotions, and disappear behind their crafted image. Even when you speak truth, mix it with mystery. Machiavelli said, "Men judge more by the eye than by the hand," meaning people believe what they see, not what's real. So, appear calm when plotting. Appear weak when rebuilding. Appear harmless when sharpening your blade. Control what they see. Because the mind that can't be read can't be defeated. Every great strategist wears a mask, not to lie, but to protect their kingdom. Your thoughts are your fortress. Once exposed, the enemy walks right in. Speak less, reveal less, move strategically. The world can't destroy what it can't understand. Be the storm behind the stillness, the fire behind the smile. Drop this in the comments. My silence is my shield. Invisible power. The highest power is the kind no one can see. Loud people fall first. They confuse attention with control. Machiavelli said, "It is safer to be feared than loved." But the ultimate position is to be neither seen nor touched, only felt. Invisible power is influence without display, control without exposure. It's silent authority that shapes outcomes without demanding recognition. When your presence changes behavior without words, you've mastered control. The strong don't announce their power. They let others feel it. The weak shout to be noticed. The wise observe quietly. To build invisible power, learn subtle influence. Not cruelty, calibration. Don't force obedience. Shape perception. Let others think your ideas are their own. That's total control. Machiavelli taught that direct force creates resistance. The intelligent use indirect power. They move without being seen. The invisible mind leads by presence, not pressure. It attracts attention through mystery, not noise. Because once people define your power, they can limit it. What can't be defined can't be defeated. The unseen strategist outlasts the visible ruler. Your goal isn't to be loud, it's to be felt. When you leave, your energy should still guide the room. When you speak, your silence should echo afterward. True dominance doesn't need confrontation. It bends reality through calm command. Machiavelli said, "Everyone can see, but few can feel." Invisible power flips that truth. You stop showing and start making others feel. Invisible power and self-mastery. When others can sense your strength but can't trace where it comes from, they obey without question. You become a psychological shadow, unseen yet impossible to ignore. The less you reveal, the more they imagine. And imagination is more powerful than truth. Invisible power isn't about hiding forever. It's about appearing only when it serves your plan. Show yourself when it benefits you. Disappear when it doesn't. That's control at a Machiavellian level. Subtle, fluid, unstoppable. Drop this in the comments. My presence speaks louder than words. 7. Self-mastery. Before world mastery. Before you try to control the world, you must conquer yourself. Every person dreams of power, but few realize the greatest enemy isn't outside, it's inside. Machiavelli once said, "The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself." You can't command people if you can't command your impulses. You can't lead others if your emotions lead you. Self-mastery is the foundation of every empire and the secret weapon of every strategist. The undisciplined man is a slave to urges, anger, greed, fear, and pride. The disciplined man uses these same forces as tools. He feels emotion but chooses his action. He faces temptation but controls his timing. He sees chaos but creates order. Self-control doesn't mean killing emotion, it means directing it with precision. When your desires obey your logic, you become unstoppable. The weak man blames the world. The strong man rewires his reactions. Every time you delay gratification, resist provocation, or stay calm under insult, you sharpen your mental sword. Every uncontrolled reaction leaks power. Every controlled response expands it. Machiavelli understood that true leadership starts with restraint, because power without discipline always collapses under pressure. Kings fall not from enemies, but from their own lack of control. When emotion rules logic, destruction follows. But when logic commands emotion, power begins. Self-mastery gives you the ability to stay calm while others panic. To think clearly while the crowd loses direction. It builds consistency, and consistency builds credibility. Without inner command, success is luck. With it, success becomes inevitable. Master your focus, and the world becomes predictable. Master your anger, and enemies lose leverage. Master your fear, and challenges turn into opportunities. Machiavelli once said, "He who desires constant success must adapt with the times." Adaptation requires control, because change without stability is collapse. The self-mastered man moves through chaos with elegance because his center is unshakable. This is what separates the rulers from the ruled, the ability to stay calm while everything burns. Remember, the mind that rules itself can never be conquered. The greatest throne you'll ever sit on is your own consciousness, and the greatest crown you'll ever wear is discipline. When you rule yourself, the world naturally follows. Drop this in the comments. I rule myself completely. 8. Building a mental fortress. The world is always trying to enter your mind, through praise, criticism, flattery, and fear. Every word you hear is either a weapon or a test. Most people let these arrows hit their emotions. They give others free access to their peace. But a strong mind builds walls, not doors. Machiavelli said, "A wise ruler builds defenses so strong that no enemy dares attack." The same is true for the mind. Your defenses are silence, focus, and detachment. When insults come, they bounce off your composure. When praise arrives, it passes through without inflating your ego. You stop reacting and start selecting. That's how you protect your energy from emotional theft. Every reaction costs power. Every moment of stillness preserves it. People will try to provoke or manipulate you because they fear what they can't control. But when your inner walls are strong, their attacks collapse. Machiavelli taught that control begins with perception. When you control what enters your mind, you control how reality affects you. Guard your focus like a treasure. Every second wasted on gossip or conflict weakens your defenses. The mentally strong man lets no one rent space in his head. He observes chaos but doesn't absorb it. He hears noise but doesn't let it echo inside. This fortress isn't built in a day. It's forged through silence, awareness, and repetition. Pause before you respond. Breathe before you react. Evaluate before you believe. The more you practice this, the less the outer world controls your inner peace. As Machiavelli said, "He who masters himself becomes master of others." Your mental fortress is that mastery made visible. It allows you to stay calm when provoked, strategic when challenged, and invisible when threatened. Protect your thoughts like a king guards his crown. Because once your mind is untouchable, so is your power. A wandering mind is a conquered mind. A wandering mind is a conquered mind. A focused mind is an empire. When your mind is fortified, you stop needing to prove anything. Peace becomes your armor. Patience becomes your weapon. Focus becomes your shield. The calm mind cannot be defeated. It observes, adapts, and conquers. Remember this: silence cannot be defeated. Drop this in the comments. My mind is my fortress. 9. Rule without a crown. True rulers don't need titles, applause, or attention. Their influence exists beyond visibility. They command quietly, lead naturally, and dominate through presence, not position. Machiavelli once said, "Men are impressed more by what they see than what they feel." But the wisest ruler flips that truth. He leads through unseen force, not outward show. Titles fade, crowns rust, but presence endures forever. You don't have to announce your dominance when people feel it the moment you walk in. Confidence that needs no validation becomes magnetic. You move differently when your sense of power doesn't depend on approval. You act calmly because you no longer need confirmation from anyone. Machiavelli believed that control gained through fear or admiration must still be maintained through skill. Otherwise, it dies. The invisible ruler keeps order through energy, not enforcement. He shapes outcomes quietly, influencing minds through calm conviction, not loud demands. Those who rely on status lose power when their position is gone. But those who command respect through character never lose it. To rule without a crown, you must stay composed under pressure, decisive in confusion, and balanced in success. Leadership isn't about being served, it's about staying stable when others collapse. People naturally trust those who radiate certainty, not those who shout commands. The calm man becomes an anchor for the fearful crowd. His silence speaks louder than speeches. His restraint is more powerful than aggression. Machiavelli once said, "Men sooner forget the death of their father than the loss of their fortune." It means loyalty isn't built on emotion, it's built on strength. When you project stability, people follow you instinctively because they feel safe in your presence. That's psychological leadership. Quiet influence, controlled dominance, invisible power. Detach from titles. They don't define your ability. The throne doesn't make the ruler. The ruler gives meaning to the throne. Influence without recognition is the highest form of mastery. When you stop chasing acknowledgement, you become unforgettable. Rule through behavior, not declarations. Guide with wisdom, not fear. Lead without claiming leadership. And others will follow naturally. That is Machiavellian control, authority born from inner mastery. Drop this in the comments. I lead without titles. 10. The Machiavellian mindset. The Machiavellian mindset is not about chasing power, it's about becoming power. Not seeking control, but embodying it so completely that your presence alone changes the room. Machiavelli said, "Men rise by virtue or by fortune, but only those with discipline stay above both." To think like a Machiavellian is to see the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. You stop hoping for fairness and start understanding human nature. You no longer react emotionally, you observe cause and effect. The Machiavellian mind studies patterns, not feelings. It measures results, not excuses. It doesn't complain about manipulation, it masters the mechanics of influence. Weakness becomes information. Betrayal becomes instruction. Chaos becomes opportunity. That's the essence of power, not escaping the game, but learning how to play it better than anyone else. The modern world versus the Machiavellian mind. The modern world teaches people to be emotionally fragile, but the Machiavellian learns emotional precision, the power to feel deeply yet act wisely. He knows that morality without strategy leads to defeat, while strategy without morality creates emptiness. So he walks between both, balanced, calm, and fully aware. Power doesn't corrupt the Machiavellian mind, it reveals it. He understands that power isn't good or evil. It's neutral energy shaped by intent. He never wastes time proving himself because he knows perception is the real battlefield. When you master perception, you stop chasing validation, you create influence instead. Machiavelli once said, "It is better to act and repent than not to act and regret." That is his philosophy, courage guided by intelligence. The Machiavellian acts decisively because indecision kills more dreams than failure ever could. He adapts like water, flowing through resistance, bending without breaking, and shaping himself to every challenge without losing identity. Every struggle becomes a lesson in patience. Every loss becomes training for greater control. He is ruthless with distraction, loyal only to his vision, and detached from anything that threatens his mental clarity. To live with this mindset is to move through life with emotional control and logical precision. It's not about being heartless, it's about being unbreakable. The Machiavellian doesn't fight for dominance, he becomes dominance. His power doesn't need to shout. It vibrates quietly, shaping everything around him. The one who owns his mind cannot be ruled because his stability becomes a gravity that pulls everything into his orbit. That is what makes him truly dangerous. His control is invisible, but absolute. The unshaken mind. The world fears those who cannot be provoked, controlled, or predicted. Most people live in reaction, slaves to opinions, insults, and situations. They lose power the moment emotion takes control. But you are not like them. You have learned that the greatest battlefield is the mind. That true influence begins with thought, and that quiet discipline builds unshakable strength. Machiavelli taught that the ruler who masters himself has nothing to fear from chaos. You are now that ruler, calm, patient, strategic. You move without desperation and act without needing permission. Your inner crown cannot be stolen. It was forged through discipline and awareness. Insults that once hurt you now pass like wind against steel. Praise that once distracted you now means nothing. You have become a force, silent, precise, and untouchable. You no longer need to explain influence, you are influence. Authority doesn't need recognition, your presence is enough. Your silence carries power. Your focus moves mountains, and your control bends the world quietly in your favor. Remember this truth. Power begins within. Once you command your thoughts and master your emotions, the world bends to your will. You are no longer playing someone else's game. You are the architect of your own reality. This is mental dominance, calm, invisible, and unstoppable. Let this mindset shape your choices, guide your actions, and protect your peace. The war has already been won, inside you. And now, with your mind as your fortress, nothing can conquer you. If this journey strengthened your mind and sharpened your focus, like this video, share it with those who need clarity, and subscribe for more lessons on control, dominance, and mental mastery. You are now part of a rare path, the path toward becoming untouchable. Drop this final affirmation in the comments. My mind rules everything.